Hello everyone, happy evening to one and all present here. I'm Sandhya on behalf of MTT. Would like to start today's session with a small quote. Benevolence alone will not make a teacher, nor will learning alone do it. The gift of teaching is a peculiar talent and implies a need and craving in the teacher himself. By John J. Capman. Now I would like to introduce my trusted tutor. MTT is a marketplace for private tutor, school teachers, corporate trainers, academicians, educators, and all kind of education professionals. Our mission is to make quality education easily and affordably available to all. I take a great pleasure to introduce our speaker of the day, Aditi Agarwal, on the topic Bitmoji Classroom. Our speaker, Aditi Agarwal, is a grade lead at Somaya School, Vidyavihar, Mumbai. She has done post graduation in animal physiology, diploma in clinical research, and recently completed the online certification for science teaching by NCERT. She was nominated last year for Best Teaching Practice in Science Somaya Awards. She is currently part of a Pragyashala science training program being conducted online. With more than 10 years of experience in teaching science, she loves to use varied pedagogies and tools in classes. She enjoys making learning more collaborative and fun for students. Now, I hand over this session to Aditi ma'am. Ma'am?
Thank you, Sandhya Miss, for the kind words of introduction.
Yes, ma'am.
As you said, I would like to welcome everybody here on a Sunday afternoon. So, I think I mentioned this when people were logging in that it's really lovely to see you all here at 3:30 in the afternoon. I think there are people teaching across grades over here. And what I would like to tell you before I start is that what I'm going to be teaching you today is primarily not for a particular subject or for a particular grade. Students can use this, educators can use this, parents can use this. So it's a tool that has shifted over to when we're talking about online teaching. We have to find new methods and methodologies to teach our kids to engage them online. It's a very difficult task for us today to ensure that our kids learn and enjoy the learning process as much as they used to in school. Before we start, I think you know the topic for the day. It's a Bitmoji classroom. So, Sandhya Miss, can I ask you to launch the poll first? So, welcome everybody to the concept of a Bitmoji classroom. Now, basically, huge welcome from my Bitmoji avatar. So I have the Bitmoji app downloaded, and this is my avatar on it. So a big welcome to you. First, since majority of you all haven't heard of a Bitmoji classroom or you haven't used one, let me introduce you to what exactly is Bitmoji. So Bitmoji is an app. It's a fun app. It's a cute app. It's a trendy app, and it allows you to create stickers which are based on your avatar. So it asks you to click a selfie originally, and once you click the selfie, it allows you to make a version, a sticker version of you, which you can then share with your friends on WhatsApp, on mail, and you can use it in your conversations. So something that a lot of youngsters are using today. Before we start talking about the Bitmoji classroom, something that I do with my kids as well. I believe a lot in the adage that you may forget what I speak, you may forget what I teach you, but you will not forget the way I made you feel. So if today I have made you feel excited about this, if I make you feel that you have enjoyed the session, only then you will walk away with the desire to create the Bitmoji classroom or to create a virtual learning space for your kids. A quick emotional check. Please choose an emoji from the ones which are available on screen and quickly type in chat whatever you're feeling. So you could be feeling happy, you could be feeling sleepy because it's a Sunday afternoon. You could be feeling impatient, wanting me to start teaching really quickly. You could be feeling excited, thinking about learning something new. Um, Good, so happy, excited. I'm really hoping that I don't get a grumpy or a scared. So, yes, I can see happy, excited, curious. Thank you. Excited. Okay. So, I'm seeing mostly happy and excited, which is really motivating. Surprised. Okay. Thank you, Maitli ma'am. Wanting to try this with my students. Absolutely. Curious and excited. Yes, you can feel a merging of different emotions as well. Curious and happy. Yes, I'm hoping that midway through my session, you don't feel the emoji of confused or disappointed. Yes, curious is good, happy is good. So coming back to what is Bitmoji, since you're curious and excited about knowing what exactly is Bitmoji, it's basically an app. It's available on an Android phone. You can download it. You can download it via your laptop as well. Like I said, it allows you to click a selfie. Based on your selfie, it creates a sticker of you, and you can modify. You can modify your hair color. You can modify your hair texture, your eyes, the shape, clothes. All of that can be modified. It's basically a fun tool, and it's a very good way to connect in terms. It's a virtual replacement of a conversation. So I will be showing you in the session how you can find a Bitmoji sticker for a particular feeling that you have. So if you want to, like I asked you, you mentioned curious, excited, surprised, or happy. So you get an emoji for all of these. So instead of the emoji, you have a Bitmoji, which is your entire body sticker. Now, what exactly is the virtual classroom? So, a virtual classroom is a tool to use resources. Now, as you can see, the virtual classroom here, and the teacher's pointing to all these options available here. So, this is a resource. I could share it with my kids and give it to them as an assignment. So, the kids can go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or they can go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or do 1, 4, 3, 2, whatever order. So it gives a lot of choice to the child to do the assignment as his or her own pace, and also learn at the same time in a very interesting or a trendy manner. Now, you can opt for synchronous or asynchronous learning. Can I quickly have a thumbs up if you've heard of these terms before? So, if I see majority thumbs ups, then I won't go into detail about what is synchronous and asynchronous learning. Okay. So there are a few thumbs ups. Okay. So synchronous is when you're teaching live. So you're teaching a topic in class, and you're using this resource when the children are there with you in a live class, be it a Google Meet or a Zoom Meet. Asynchronous is when you assign this offline. So you've given this to them as an assignment, and you're not live with them when they're doing this. And they get back to you about it later. So maybe they submit their assignments to you, or maybe they, in a live class, you can discuss their observations from it. The third point, a virtual classroom can be used as a choice board in a live class. So, for example, in a live classroom, I could do breakout rooms, give them the resource, and tell them you have the option to choose any one book out of these. Take 10 minutes, go through the overview and the summary, and then we come back and discuss. So, the next 20 or 25 minutes of your live class go in discussing the work that they've done as a choice board. They've chosen the book that they wanted to read. Okay, and you combine the two and you get a Bitmoji classroom. So basically it's a virtual classroom where you use the Bitmoji app to add in your stickers, to connect with your kids, and make yourself more available to the child in terms of connecting with them or giving them resources. And that's how you get a Bitmoji classroom. Okay. Now, the what and the why of a Bitmoji classroom. So, a Bitmoji classroom isn't trending in India a lot, but it has been there across US from the month of March and April, because they were dealing with the pandemic a lot earlier than we were. And I think their academic situation worsened initially compared to ours. So, a lot of the teachers found this as a method to connect with their kids instead of the real world. So this is an image courtesy of Morgan Miller via her Twitter feed. What she's done is she's actually created a classroom identical to the one that she has physically. So in the school, the room that she would have dedicated to welcoming her first graders, she's created a virtual version of it. And what's amazing is that kids log in online and see something that they would see physically. So it's a very huge connect. It's an emotional connect, even though we are socially distancing. You can use it in the form of providing resources to your kids, and can make it a lot more virtually attractive. Now, this teacher's done something that I'm still trying to work on. So what she's done is she's clicked a video of herself welcoming her kids and telling them the agenda of the class. So imagine me clicking a video right now, going like, okay, welcome audience, and today we are going to learn about this and that, and point to the board. And there's no board behind me right now. But the same video can be edited, the background can be removed, and I can insert it in my Bitmoji classroom or my virtual classroom. So there's a lot that you can do creatively with this. Okay, and that's what she's done right now. So I haven't reached this phase as yet. I'm still at the basic phase of making a virtual classroom. Um, this one is for math resources. So you click on a poster, you click on something, and automatically you get a lot of material. So you click on something and you can maybe do algebra. You can click on something and get formulae. You can click on something and maybe see a video on mathematical division or subtraction. So resources are available to the kids. This is a classroom for sixth grade science. So you can see the periodic table, you can see a plant, you can see the laptop. So again, anything you click will take you to a resource. So do we see first grade, second grade, sixth grade, math, science, homeroom? This is art. This is a lovely Bitmoji that I found. So if you see the posters on the top, the posters are of different artists. If you click, the actual Bitmoji has your ability to click on a poster. And when you do, it will lead you to the write-up on a particular artist. So when the kid clicks on it, it will lead him to a particular artist, his history, background, the work of art that he's doing. Is he alive or not? What is the kind of uh, theme that he works on? So again, like I said, this classroom is not limited to grades. It's not limited to subjects. You can do a lot with it. This is one that I have created. So I know that a lot of my friends and colleagues have seen this. They've seen a version of this. So it's not as detailed or as descriptive as the earlier ones, obviously, because it's a trial one that I've tried for the first time. But if you see this, the whole point of it was to make my kids, yes, Amrita ma'am, it can be integrated into Microsoft Teams as well. So any tool that you use, be it Google Meet or be it Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you can integrate this. I'll be teaching you how. So I know my kids were missing the bio lab a lot because every session I used to welcome them to the lab and have them interact, do some hands-on activity as far as I could manage. So this is Virtual Lab 2.0, and you click on something and it will take you to a particular link. So let me show you what you can use this for. Okay. So before I teach you on how to make one, let me tell you where all we can use this. So like you asked about Microsoft Teams, whether it can be integrated or not. So Amrita ma'am asked about this. Maitli ma'am asked about Google Meets. This is something which can be shared on Google Classroom. It can be shared as a PDF in your live classroom. A lot can be done with it. One, I'm giving you 5 basic ideas on what you can do with it, and then as you start using it, you'll come up with a lot of ideas of your own. For example, you can give it as an assignment, plain and simple. You have 5 links over here, give it to the child, and a time period of maybe a week. They have to go through all the 5 links and come back, and maybe you can tell them to do a write-up. Maybe you can give them an attached worksheet for the same. I've mentioned choice board before. So you share it live in class and ask the children to choose the activity that they want to do. So you have 5 links. Maybe I will choose link 1. Maybe Priyanka ma'am will choose link 2. Maybe Maitli ma'am will choose link 2. Maybe Mahesa will choose link 4. But all of us have to complete the 5 links within a time period. Our spacing could be different. You can do a live class focus on a specific topic. For example, your virtual classroom can include links on a specific topic. For example, maybe you're teaching about life processes. So you have maybe the heart or the skeleton or the blood. You have only these links in your entire classroom. Maybe you're doing an English poem. So you could have the background of the poem where it's set. Maybe it's set in an English village, or maybe your characters. You could place those in the classroom and click on those. You could assign a research project to the child. giving this as a resource and telling them to do something with it, like maybe do a write up or maybe find more links. Or the fifth one is the most interesting. You can ask them to design a bank of resources on their own. So you provide them the PDF and tell them to find associated links with what you shared. So it's a lot of creativity which goes into this, and you can go all out with it. So I think the same resource can be used in so many different ways by different teachers. Coming to when I look at how it works, okay? So this is, for example, let's say that I've shared this Bitmoji with you. When you click on a specific object, it will take you to a specific link, which is a resource. So for example, you can see the arrows pointing to specific items in the room. Okay, now if I click on a specific item, it will take me to a link. It will open it up in the browser. For example, when I click on that bonsai tree, it will take me to a YouTube link, which is a video which is around 3 to 4 minutes on how to make a bonsai tree under 75 rupees. So looking at the pandemic situation, you may not have the material to do this, but even 10% of your learners actually utilize this, nothing like it. And they will learn the concept of bonsai, they will learn the concept of how to plant, they may use it for something else. Okay, so this is how it actually works. Now let's come to the fun part. Let's come to learning how to make one. Okay, all right. So first of all, before we start learning on how to make the classroom, it's basically hyperlinking. Okay, it's very simple. All you have to do is take an object, hyperlink it to a particular resource. Now it's attractive because we are using Bitmoji stickers with it. That's the thing making it attractive. You can also use a photograph of yourself over there. You need not add yourself into the virtual classroom. The whole point is to make a tool which is useful to you while you are teaching, or you can give it as an assignment. Now, I'm going to be looking at two ways of making this. There are multiple ways of making a Bitmoji classroom. You can do it using a photo editing tool on your phone also. So what I'm going to be doing is talking about a PowerPoint perspective and a Google slide perspective. So in case you're using PowerPoint, you directly open a PowerPoint. Step 1, 2, 3, 4 don't apply to you. But if you're using Google Slides, step 1 is having an Gmail account. And if you don't have one, then making an account if you plan to use Google Slides. If you have a Google account, you can see Google Apps over here. Once you click on it, it takes you to opening the multiple apps that are associated, but we are choosing Drive. When we click on Drive, we have the option to create something new. Now the new could be a folder, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be a Excel sheet or a Word doc. I'm going to be choosing Google Slides. So if you're on PowerPoint, step 1, 2, 3, 4 is out. We directly come to step 5. So some of you may have a PowerPoint open at this. Some of you are on Google Slides and you have an untitled presentation open in front of you. Okay. If you are comfortable and your device supports, I would be very happy if you could be working on this with me. So because it's pretty simple to go forward and do the steps along with me. In case your device does not support, then I would suggest making notes. And I will be sharing my email ID with you so that you can come back to me with any concerns that you may have. So for those of you all who are on PowerPoint, you will be having a PowerPoint open. We do not select a particular theme or a background as of right now. And the same thing applies to a Google slide. In a Google slide, we select a background. If you're on PowerPoint, you will right click on your slide and you will get the option of format background. Okay. So the same thing opens up. Basically, you have to set a background. Now, I could click a photograph of my background right now, the room, and upload that. If you are taking online classes, going to your school and utilizing school resources, you could click a photograph of your school laboratory or classroom, which would be amazing to connect with your kids, because I'm sure all of them are missing school a lot. You could also select backgrounds which are available on Google. So for example, when I click on background in Google Slides, I get the option to choose image. Now, when I choose image, I have these options to upload something that I already have. And what I usually prefer is doing a Google image search for floor and wall background. Now, if you take something like this, it will be very difficult to place things so that it looks realistic. It won't look realistic when you place a table or a chair on this curved background. Something like this or this works beautifully because it is two-dimensional. It has a wall and it has a floor. So when you place a chair or a table or a blackboard, it works really well. So once you choose the background, it goes onto your slide like this. Okay. We move to the next step, which is inserting an object. So depending on what you teach, you might be wanting to add an object. So for example, if you're a library teacher, or you're a librarian, or you're an English teacher or a language teacher, you might want to insert a bookcase with books. If you're a science teacher like me, a skeleton goes by default, or an electric switch goes by default. So you might want to do that. If you're teaching, say, economics, you may want posters of dollar signs or the stock market or the logos coming up here. So the point is you choose an image which is related to what you want to teach. Okay. And for that, if you're on PowerPoint, this principle remains the same of insert and image. If you're on Google Slides, again, insert image. I would suggest searching the web because it becomes connected rather than downloading pictures, saving them, and then inserting them from my computer. I usually prefer working online, so my material gets saved as I'm working. Oh, by the way, I hope you've noticed that we are on step 8. Um, I have 20 steps for you to learn a Bitmoji. So again, can I get a thumbs up if that really excites you? That in 20, you will learn this entire thing. In 20 steps, you will learn this. So going back to step 8, we are left with 12 more steps and you will have your own Bitmoji classroom very soon. So when you search the web, you're going to be searching for an image that you would want to add. So for example, if I want to search for a skeleton, choose an image with a transparent background. Now, obviously, you want to make your classroom look realistic, as if there are things actually placed in that environment. So you don't want the background to be there. So when I search, I will search skeleton transparent background. You will get a list of images. Choose one that looks perfect for your room and place the image wherever you want. So for example, I may be planning to put my blackboard up here. I may be planning a table and a chair over here. So I've put my skeleton on the left side of the room, and you do the placement as you like. Now, we come to the part where you start talking about hyperlinking or linking your object to the resource that you want the child to go. So typically what we would do is have the skeleton and then teach the child about the skeleton. So, you know, the skeleton is made up of bones. The bones have calcium in them. Certain number of bones, you have the torso. You start teaching with the picture on the screen. We don't want to do that. We want the child to have the onus of learning. I want the child to click on this, go to maybe a video or to a link and learn and interact. Okay. So what I need to do now is find the resource that I want the child to use. Now the resource could be a video, it could be a PDF, it could be a research article, it could be maybe an activity to do, you could integrate science with PE or sports and have them actually perform an activity which strengthens their bones. Or I found one which is perfect for grade 6 and 7 where it's a flash game. So when you click on this link, it leads you to the flash game where you can either label or put the skeleton together. So it's a lot of fun. And as you can see on the right hand side, there are multiple links which are available. So please do save the site abcr.com. You'll get a lot of flash games on it for your subject. Please feel free to go and do research. You'll get amazing games for your grade levels. Now, what you need to do is, you can see the green arrow on the link. You need to copy the link and keep it. So once you copy the link, it's automatically there on your copy board. The next thing that you do is you go back to your presentation. Now you've copied the link. You go back to the presentation, which is open on another tab in your browser. And if you're using Google Slides, it's insert link. If you're using PowerPoint, there is something called as hyperlink. It's the sign of a browser on your PowerPoint. If you see the tab above, you'll see the hyperlink tab and you can click on that. But before you see that option, you will have to select your object. So I've come back with the link. I select the skeleton and I can now click on insert link. Okay. Now when I click on insert link, I'm going to get an empty box in Google Slides where I have to enter. Same thing pops up in PowerPoint. Absolutely no difference at all. You paste your link here and apply. Same thing in PowerPoint, same thing in Google Slides. And now your object is linked to that flash game. Whenever you do this, I would suggest testing to see if your link is working, because sometimes you may have hyperlinked, but because the link is saved somewhere on your PC, it will not connect for the child. So the best option is to present the slide to check. So whether it's PowerPoint or Google Slides, go on to presentation mode. And when you go on presentation mode, can you see my arrow? If you hover on the object, no, now right now it's an image, so you can see my cursor. But actually when you hover on the image, you will see the icon of the hand and you will see the link connected. If you can see with the arrow, the link indicating that it works. Now, the fun thing for your child, when he clicks on the skeleton, it will lead him to that resource of the flash game. Cool. You can do this live in class. You can give this as an assignment and they will explore on their own. We are at step 15. All you need to do, you're pretty much ready to go. Now, this is important. If you download as a PowerPoint and share it with the kids will get the PowerPoint version and they can move objects around, they can delete links, add links, they can play around with it, which is not a really good idea for any grade level, irrespective of whether the child is in pre-primary or in secondary or senior secondary. If you convert it to a PDF, it is superb because the file gets frozen and the links remain connected. So when you share a PDF with the child can actually click on the links without moving things around. If you send it as a JPEG image or a PNG, which is a normal picture file, you can't click. The links don't remain connected. So when you share the file, whatever it is, whether it's a PowerPoint or whether it's a Google slide or whether it's something that you're editing on your phone, you will have to select the option of saving it as a PDF. Okay, so that it works the way you want it to. Now, once you have it as a PDF, you know how easy PDFs are to share. I can share it on my phone. I can mail it to you. I can WhatsApp it to you. I can do a lot with a PDF and you're ready to go. We are at step. Now, you must be wondering where I come in, right? Yes or no? If you're wondering, please type on chat yes. Did you think about why the Bitmoji hasn't popped up as yet? There we go. Yeah, so everybody is wondering, we are making all this, we are putting in links. Where in the world is the Bitmoji coming in? I haven't seen this Bitmoji pop up and say hey to me as yet. So you remember 20 steps? I said 20 steps to make your Bitmoji classroom. We were on step 16. So we come to step 17, which we now leave our Google slide and we leave our PPT and we come to our phones, our beloved phones. What you need to do is download the Bitmoji app on your phone. It's there on the app. All you need to do is download it. It's a highly rated app because it's used a lot. You can follow the steps to make the avatar. So the app will lead you to it. Once you download it, it will teach you very nicely how to make your own avatar. And once you create your avatar, you will get stickers. How you have emojis on WhatsApp, like if you want to type the emoji of hungry or a smiley or hearts, you get these stickers. So you start getting stickers for your Bitmoji. Okay, and you can share it on mail. You can see the options that are available, and these are all our social media tools. You can share it on mail, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. You can use your stickers apart from your teaching world. You can do all of this and more. So currently, if I look at where we are, we have the virtual classroom separate. We have our Bitmoji separate. Okay. What I do is I take my Bitmoji sticker and I go forward and now add it to my presentation. So the lonely skeleton is not lonely anymore. It has me to welcome it to my class. It has me to welcome my kids to it. And we now have the Bitmoji talking about how knowledge is power and you need to click on things to learn. So you get multiple Bitmojis, you type an emotion and we are there. So if you want to type curious, you'll get a Bitmoji which looks curious with some cute icons, and you can do a lot with it. Once you insert your Bitmoji, say hello to your first Bitmoji classroom. This is the third version that I've made, so it's slightly better than the first one and it has a lot more resources in. Um, I would like to share one of my Bitmoji classrooms with you later. I'll be uploading the PDF file on the chat for sure. You're welcome to use it in school. You're welcome to use it for your kids. You're welcome to explore it and break it apart to see how it works. How this works is, for example, if you click on the dog, it leads you to a Petpedia page where it talks about the different species of dogs. You click on this and it takes you to a virtual tour of the Baltimore aquarium. So it's a beautiful resource. It's a virtual tour of the aquarium and teaches you about different species in that water. You click on this doctor here, smartly standing there. It will take you to a virtual flash game, which basically allows the child to act like a doctor and diagnose conditions and diseases and treat patients. So, as I said, I'm a science aficionado. I love my subject. So, I have a lot related to science. But all of this can be converted to whichever subject you look at. Okay, English, commerce, math, any subject you say, or any grade level that you speak of. And this is what we are talking about in terms of Bitmoji. What I would like to show you is the live version of it. Okay. If you can see my presentation mode as of right now, can we see it? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it, please. Yeah, so currently you're seeing my presentation instead of the presented mode. If you can see my cursor here, do you see the Bitmoji here? Yeah. So what I have done is I have downloaded Bitmoji on my phone and I have an avatar ready. And I log in from my laptop into my Bitmoji account. And if you're using Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, whichever browser you're using, it has the option to add extensions. Okay, and that comes in your settings. So what you do is, like for example, in Google Chrome, this is extensions. Okay, when I click on extensions, it will allow me to search for a particular extension that I want. So I searched for Bitmoji and I added it. So now the Bitmoji extension shows up on my screen like this. For example, if I click on it right now, I will get an option to search for a particular Bitmoji that I want. And I can see some questions in chat. Let me quickly go through them. Yes, I will run through all the options once again. So when I click on the Bitmoji, can you see it shows me these? So if you can see, the recent ones are the ones that I have used. And popular is obviously, since I'm using for science or for corrections or for talking about different animals. So you can see my favorite ones. Now I can search for a particular Bitmoji. Can you please use chat and tell me which emoji you would want me to search? Curious, excited, happy, maybe your subject. Go ahead, I'll search for that one then. Okay. So I'm getting the option of surprised. Okay, English is an option, library. So Battle of Plassey becoming very, very specific regarding the library. Okay. Math. Wow. Okay. Welcome to science class. So I like the option of wow. Okay. Okay. Type ow instead of wow. Yeah. Give me just a minute. Yeah. Okay. For pre-primary. So for pre-primary, this works beautifully, ma'am, because you get so many stickers, you get so many resources. For free primary kids, it's an amazing thing to see something coming alive in front of them when they're clicking on something. So okay, counseling, yes, you get a lot of tools for counseling as well. Okay, so my internet is kind of not supporting me right now and not bringing up the sticker as I wanted. The whole point being that when you, yes, oh, thank you. So finally, my internet decided to work with me. So when I type in wow, you can see the stickers popping up. So you can see intense wild. So what you can do is pick up a sticker. Thank you, Snigdha ma'am. I'm so glad you want to use it in your classroom. So you can see the amazing stickers popping up. And the fun part, what we do is we choose the sticker that we want. Okay, and this is not a very happy wow. So I select this one. What you do is you click on it and drag it to your screen. Okay, so what I do is I will simply drag the sticker to where I want to place it, and it will load that image for me, and there. So I can place it anywhere on my slide that I want, and maybe have something over here, maybe the book that I'm maybe wanting my children to read for that week or log into, and the wow associated with it. And when I click on it, it takes me to wherever I want. So this is something that this is the reason why I work on Google Slides, because yeah, so the wow is currently on my screen and you can just ignore it. So the point being that Google Slides allows me to drag the Bitmoji as it is. Plus, it saves my work online. So I don't have to depend on a particular device. So for example, if God forbid, if my laptop decides to stop working right now, I can simply log in via my phone and connect my Gmail and my slides will be there. Whereas if a PowerPoint has been made on a particular device like my computer, if my computer does not support me at a particular time, I'm stuck because my presentation is there and I can't access it. So I prefer Google Slides. Again, all of this can be done on PowerPoint as well. Thank you for being a very attentive audience and listening patiently to all the steps for making the virtual classroom. Um, I know that it's a Sunday afternoon, but you've taken the time out to be here and to learn something new. I hope you are walking away with something new. I hope that you're walking away with wanting to try this with your kids. Speaking from experience, I know my kids have enjoyed it a lot. They've given me good feedback on this, and I'm enjoying using it in live classes as well. I'm open to any questions. As of now, we can open it up. You can maybe type on chat or maybe raise your hands and unmute yourself and ask me if you want to ask something. In case your doubts do not get clarified within today's session, that's my email ID for you. Please do connect with me on mail and do give me feedback on if you've used it in your class and whether you liked it.